What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the HTM Buddy Build of the U.S.S. Reliant. I'm Jordan with Aligning the Stars.
And I'm Ken with Ken's Hobby Bench.
And, it's another week, and I have another excuse for not getting any results done, but it's a legit one this time. Power outages, man. Living in the Pacific Northwest, how familiar are you with the region, Ken, of where I live?
Vaguely. Like, I know BC more, like lower
Okay.
mainland BC
Yeah.
and stuff.
Got it. Yeah. So, like, where I live, like in the Puget Sound region, like there's a giant, sound. So it's there's a big peninsula that sits right in the middle, and then surrounding it, on the east side of that is like where Seattle and Bellevue and everything is. But basically, what happens is from the Fraser River Valley, up in BC, all of the cold air and fast running air runs down the valley and then dumps out into the strait and then goes into the Puget Sound and then funnels directly into my neighborhood. I swear to God. Last weekend, the wind 60 miles an hour, and right as I was getting ready to start working and building, power goes out. And unfortunately, like, you can do stuff, but I could record even with my phone. That'd be fine. Like, that'd be no big deal. But when you're soldering, you kind of need power.
Yes.
So I hate to say it, but it was just another week where I didn't get much done. And it's kind of bad timing because I'm going to be going to England next week. So I don't know, man. Like, dude, I'm gonna get some work done this weekend. That is for sure. It's all I got in front of me. So same thing as last week. I wasn't able to get anything done, so I get to look forward to talking about what you've gotten done. But just as a reminder, I'm going to be doing the final part of all of my saucer lighting and all that jazz. Getting all the final components installed, and we got, unfortunately, when the power kicked back on, it fried my backup power supply, which is what I use to burn in LEDs, and it fried it. And so, yeah, don't have a few of the SMDs, so I need to go ahead and create a few of those again. But yeah, just finishing up all the lighting and all the electronics, and then doing my testing. So kind of getting to where Ken's kind of at right now, but only before all the painting. So yeah, that's kind of the plan, and just getting everything all tied together and ready to connect for assemblies. So yeah, it was kind of an eventful weekend where I laid down a lot and listened to books on tape. It was great.
You know, Jordan, I just have to say, if it weren't for bad luck, you'd have no luck at all.
It's true, man. Between me being my own worst enemy sometimes, and just power outages. I've had so many power outages and internet problems. It sucks. So that's very true, and I tend to be really lucky in that sense that good bad luck follows me around. So yeah. So that's all for me. How about you? How's it been going for you and your build this week?
Not much done this week. I did start right after my last video released. I started recording stuff because I had issues with lighting. I lost Raytheon lighting in this nacelle, and then I lost the negative in this one with for which was the red crystal, the spotlights, and the RCS thruster. So I basically ended up cracking both of these open, and now they're in the process of being glued back together. And on the upside of me cracking it open, I did manage to fix one set of spotlights because they actually, I guess I forgot to glue them into their little holders, and they weren't in the holders anymore. So that worked out good for me in the end. But yeah, no, I fixed all that. It's all working good. The one Raytheon was actually physically broken. So
Wow, how did it happen? Do you know?
it's just one of these little filament LEDs, and they're very fragile because they're the non-bendable ones. So in the future, I don't think I wouldn't purchase these again. Although I have I don't know,
Tons.
probably still about 90 some odd of these because it came in a pack of 100. I'm not even on camera. I see that. But yeah, so yeah, I cannot recommend these for such an enclosed space like this. I think there's other applications where it would be fine, but just squeezing it into a really confined space in which where you then have to apply pressure to clamp this closed. I think that is a bit of a hazardous endeavor.
Mm.
So then I went around after that. One of my lights came unplugged. One of my red lights came unplugged from the bridge, from the three in each direction. What it was is it actually came unsoldered from um, the resistor, so I had to just go back in and reattach it. Basically, peeled back the shrink tubing, and then reconnected. So you'll see all that. I recorded all that being done. Then I went through and I tested all my lights everywhere else. Everything's running good except for just I have one little red light over here being burnt in. Just this one light over here on this side here, on the side of the uh, chiller, or no, sorry, of the impulse crystal. So yeah, I'm just gonna end up drilling that out and just putting this new one in. So yeah, and then I can continue on gluing and clamping and probably filling and sanding, and then hopefully I can. I think I've got most of my wires run out the sides here and everything ready to go on the inside here. So hopefully, starting next week, I can start gluing this together and then start looking at moving on to painting.
Wow.
Now I need to take a breath because that was a lot of talking.
It was a lot of talking. Yeah, I do the same thing. Well, that's awesome, man. Yeah, there's a lot of troubleshooting, and I know that like just watching some of Will's stuff recently, he's just gone through a process where he had to go through and do a bunch of troubleshooting and fixing, and so I'm not surprised. The amount of LEDs that we are putting into this thing, the statistical probabilities of failing are high somewhere along the way. So, um, yeah, it's interesting. Like I've never, I've probably said this a million times now, but like I've this is the most lighting I've ever put in any model, and it's complex and it's interesting. Like just the amount of places that where things can fail is kind of crazy, So I don't know about you, but I'm much better at soldering after like this model.
I've in the past week and a half, I've improved my soldering
Yeah,
because yeah, I had to relearn some stuff about soldering. So hopefully, it's better now. And I look at this though. The sad thing is, I'm gonna finish this. You'll see it all lit up on camera, and then I'll put it in my display case, and it'll maybe get lit up maybe a dozen more times in its entire lifetime. That's
yeah,
probably about it.
really. Yeah, that's interesting. I light my models up all the time. Do you not have like power that's available in there, or you
Oh,
just
no, I
you
do.
just
Like, for me, because it'll be sitting upstairs in my living room, in a
yeah,
glass case next to the TV, and it's like, yeah, maybe a couple
yeah,
times when company's over, I'll, light it up or something, but in
yeah,
general, yeah, I wouldn't feel the need to light it up while I'm watching TV because 'cause it'd be kinda distracting in its glass case.
yeah. Good point.
So,
Yeah, I'm gonna need to put this in a glass case as well. I've been looking at some display cases, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it's you put all this work into lighting, and so I just kind of light it up, but I worry sometimes. I'm like, LEDs only do have a finite lifespan, so and my camera is really, really bright. There we go. My goodness, it needed something on the screen to help darken that down. Did you see that?
I saw that you were all washed out.
Yeah, that was super crazy. But yeah, no, that totally distracted me. Yeah, so how interesting. I just once again the different takes on it, and getting a glass display case, that does kind of change things because it will refract light. And this is definitely going to be one of those ones that I'm going to get to be able to put out in the living room. So, um, something to think about, huh? I hadn't thought about that too much. And with this special case, we need to be like with the display base that Keith put together for us and everything that Todd's going to help us animate. Like I don't know, man. I have just enough of that Alec in me where I kind of want to just press the button and watch this do its things. So I don't know.
I would be happy
But
just making up the case and not finishing the model, just playing with the case, lighting up.
yeah, boop, boop.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we did figure out, of course, is that you can use those as touch plates, but for this, because like being that the stuff from this era of Star Trek was still very tactile. Um, it'll be kind of cool to be able to put some press buttons on there to be able to activate different effects. So, yeah, kind of thinking ahead to that point because as much as I say we're done with electronics, not yet. We still got to hook this up, get this into the base, and then light that up. So, lots more to come.
I think it would be cool with a 1350 version of this to actually have the switches like Spock had to hit to make the
Oh
Reliant
yeah.
fields. Like you got
Oh
like
my.
1 to 10 or whatever, 1 to 0 or whatever, but you only hit like
Yeah.
the 3 or 4 he hits.
Oh yeah. Whatever that code was, I used to know it. That would be really cool, and that's like the code you press to turn it on.
Yeah.
Oh, oh, or turns the shields down. Oh,
Yep.
oh,
Yep.
wow. Well,
I mean, you wouldn't have enough room on the size we're doing, but that's 1350.
no,
It would
one
look.
350 for sure, unless you wanted to install a control panel off to the side. Hmm.
True enough.
Now we'll wait for the 1350, and hopefully it has this much detail, so we don't have to go this crazy next
Hopefully,
time.
we're still in the hobby when that happens. Round two.
Yeah, AMT round two. Wherever you guys are, if you're watching, hey, 350, 350 us, please. We all want to build one that doesn't quite fit right, and we can all beat our heads together over it, just like its sister ship.
Yes.
All right, my friend, ready to get this thing going this week?
I am ready to jump in and start running.
All right, brother. Well, look forward to seeing what you get done this week.
Hey, I look forward to seeing your progress as well.
All right, well, I'll see you at the bench.
We'll see you at the bench. All right, everyone, here we are back at the bench, and yeah, I'm gonna just rip the Band-Aid off and crack this bad boy open. We'll see what we have inside. To help try and prevent cracking of the seam here, I've got some pressure on here with clothesline clip. You know what I'm going to do though? I'm going to take some masking tape and I think I'll wrap that around there as well. Just to, just to give it a little extra strength on the seam. Try our best, right? We'll see what we can do. Hopefully this will work out well. So there we go, there's that, and a little bit of pressure from that. Maybe I'll do the same around the front. If it works, great. If it doesn't, oh well, same boat as the other one. Right? Right. All right. So, there we go. There's that. A little bit of that. All right, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to use my Tamiya panel line scriber just to come in here and just to flex a little bit side to side and try to crack it. Oh, there we go. Just starting to go. I'm going to try and avoid my Raytheon light. Don't have to replace another one of those. Okay, so that's cracked. Try back here. There we go. And see what we can see. Now I may not be as lucky with this one. in that the epoxy, two-part epoxy resin might have captured this one a little bit better, this pylon. So time will tell. So, come on, there we go. Ooh. All right. There, she's cracking. Okay. Oh, what can we see? What can we see? Let's take something a little thinner now. Let's get my scalpel out here. Try and come down a little bit further. Although I need to replace my scalpel blade. Yeah, see, it's starting to crack right into here, but that's okay. Now, like I was telling Jordan the previous, yeah, I think I was telling Jordan in the previous video, I do have an older spare one of these kits if I need to. It has the horrible windows on the hull, but I don't think anything's ever been changed on the nacelle area. So, we should be good there. I'm going to, as much as it hurts, use my panel line, seam line cutter here. Not really putting much pressure on there, I'm just going to let the tool do the work. Just to kind of cut that seam, hopefully weaken the connection here. So allow this to crack off. I don't think I'm going to have the same luck. I got lots of luck, none of it good. So you know what? I may end up having to just separate both pieces. And to let you guys know, I am willing to do that. So let's try that. Peeled a little bit of paint here off the tape, but yeah, that's perfectly fine. All right, let's get at her. There we go. Work our way down, just like that. Sorry, I'm a little off camera here. So we're going along cracking this open. There we go. There. Now she's starting to go. Let's see if we can get something going on the front side here. So it should only be just along this little area here, and then it'll split on this, whatever that part is. There we go. So there we go. She's splitting. Oh, so you got to be careful with that scribing tool because it will gouge. Oh yeah, see now this one's coming off here. So there, she's splitting. All right, let's see what we can get here. Ah, see, she did epoxy together. All right. Now, you can see I broke some plastic off there. I think, at least that's what it looks like to me. However, can, you know what, I think that was just putty that broke. Okay, let's try and separate this. Be careful. See, I'm gonna have to actually glue these parts back in here. They actually came out. Good thing I did come back in here. Discovering all the problems. Well, I'll keep working at this. There we go. So what we have here is we should have our missing negative, which even if I need to, I can just cut it off down in here and run a whole new line up as an additional line. I'm not too concerned about having to do that. But I'm going to start with some simple stuff, and I'm going to reattach these. So give me a few minutes here, and I'll be right back. All right, so you can see now I've got these lights reconnected in here, and this fiber optic here managed to fit nicely coming out. The other one I think was maybe flush, and I just wasn't certain about that, so I just put a new, I pulled out the old piece of fiber optic filament here, and I ended up putting a new piece right into the bulb itself, and they're both CA glued in there, so now that won't be an issue. Now, next I need to do is figure out where my negative line for all my other items is coming up. So the other items, I mean like the spotlights themselves, the RCS thrusters, and is there anything else on the others? Oh yes, the red crystal here. So that's kind of my others. So I'm going to try and figure out where that comes into or comes out of here. Now I can see I'm starting to stress some of these lines in here already. So I want to be careful with what I'm doing, but I do see the single strand black line coming out right here. So what I can try and do is, where is it here? Right here. So what I'm going to try and do is join onto that. So what I'll do is I will cut that. Just like that. And now find where I cut it. Making sure these other ones are still good. Yeah, they look like they are. Let's take a little bit of stress, or at least try to, a little stress off this wire here by folding that there so we're not stressing that joint right there. Okay, so there's our wire here. So let's see if we can't put a new wire in. So give me a moment, I'll get my soldering station here ready to go. Alright, so now I have a new black wire kind of spliced back in there. So we can just lay this down and then try to run all this back through here. Now I want to make sure this light isn't blocked, so I'm going to have to use some more CA glue. So I'm just going to take my CA here and just try and glue it in here. Now, learning my lesson with CA glue, more is not necessarily always better. So let's just do that, and then we'll come in here and give it a little quick squirt of our kicker, just like that. And hopefully that'll hold it. Okay, with all that done, now what we can do is try to start kind of closing it up, just to see where things can go. Now, I'm going to try and run this in here with the rest of these wires, but yet keep it from interfering with either the how thick the wire bundle is, and I want to prevent also any wires from coming across our Raytheon effect here. So again, we're going to be tacking this again some more with some CA glue. Let's just take our tweezers here and just hold that down a bit. Not too much CA, just enough to tack this down into place. Like that. Then we'll bring this wire in here and across. I think this somewhere over here. Let's see here. Yeah, I think it'll fit in there nicely. Again, not using too much CA glue if I can help it. I'm learning. And hopefully my learning helps you learn too. And now we have this wire kind of coming out and joining the rest. Let's see. Yes. So, we can have it come up in here like that and join the rest. Okay, so that's all done now. What I can do is give it a quick test and make sure it's still working. All right, so red to red, black to black, black to black, yeah, there we go. So there you can see we have our lights all coming on nicely. And if you look in here, maybe, yeah, you can see the flickering yellow in there. Yeah, just like that. So that's all working. That's exactly what this set of lights that we lost our negative for, that's what that was controlling. So now I'm happy with that. Again, I have to be delicate with these wires, but I'm going to try and put this all back together now, and yeah, get ready to sand and fill. So I'll be right back. Alright, so here you can see we're doing our initial glue up again. I've managed to connect all my wires here. You can see I've got my spotlights here, Raytheon. You can kind of see in here, you can see the, I know I got a light leak, but you can see the strobe light in there. And you can kind of see the blue glow. Yes, the blue glow of my chiller grill here. So that's where we're at right now. So we're going to keep on with that. And yeah, I think I'm ready to move on to repairing those saucer issues. So I'll be right back. All right. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to work on getting this Raytheon bit here reconnected. So I have a negative here, or a blue for a negative, because that's what we're using for our Raytheon effect. So what else should do here? Should probably take a little bit of flux, paste here, and then I will take a little bit of my solder, and we will tin this wire to start with, just like that. Then we're going to attach this wire into place on here. slight tug, it's in place. Now what I should do, so I'm going to glue down my wires here, and I'm going to leave a little bit of slack so they're, they've got nothing to be pulled on. So just like that. Let us see here. Yeah, I think like that should be good. So again, taking my CA glue and just a little bit here. There we go. I wonder if I could do this. There we go. Give that a little spray with the kicker. And there we go. So we have a little bit of play here for these. And there we go. So let's test this strip out. Making sure we're good. I'm sure it'll be just fine. Watch your eyes. There you go. So that Raytheon effect is now working. We're all good there. Moving on here now, we had this wire here came disconnected. Now this is one of our bridge red lights, and it was this one right here. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to strip down our shrink wrap or shrink tube here and try to reconnect. So let's try that a little bit. Let's try and figure out where things went wrong. Okay, so now you can see what I've done here is exposed as much of this resistor here as I could. So we can see we still have a good point here to solder. We do have some exposed wire here, so it looks like it just let go is all it was. I've gone and put some shrink tubing. It's way down here so that we can re-shrink tube this. I could try to get more of the shrink tube off, but I am kind of leery about doing that. I don't want to damage anything more. So what I'll do is I will take my soldering iron here and just kind of heat this up, and there we go. I had a little piece of wire where it broke. There we go. And we will continue to fix our ship, or at least our lighting. Give that a shot. Let it cool off for a moment. Yep, it is connected. So let's bring our shrink tubing up. Put it over on that, and we'll just shrink it around the rest of the resistor. There we have it. Looking really good. All right, let's test this out and see how it's looking. So there we go. Looks like we have 3, 3, and 3 lights. Let's double check. Take a look. Yeah, yep, 3 lights there, 3 lights there, and 3 lights there. Looking good. All right. That makes me feel a little bit better for the rest of this week. This is currently only still Sunday. The last video just dropped, I don't know, a couple hours ago. About 2.5 hours ago here. So I'm just working here, trying to get as much of this set up and ready to proceed. So I'm going to keep going through here, checking out my lights, seeing what's good, what's not, and then hopefully we can get a step closer to closing this all up. So I'll be right back. All right, so I've been going through here and checking all my lights, making sure they're all working. It does appear, though, that this red one here has stopped working. So what I'm going to do is check to see where the wires go. So they're coming up here, and they're joining in with the black here, which joins all the way up to here. And the red appears to come in through here, joins right here. This yellow shrink tube comes in through here. That wire all looks good and leads to here. So either we have a bad connection somewhere in here, I don't think so, it is possible, or we have a bad LED, which is also very possible. So I think our best bet here will be to cut back all this here. I'll probably just leave it just so that I'm not peeling away light blocking paint or anything. So I'll cut them back to about here somewhere, where it's still just these two wires. So say somewhere back in here. And I will reconnect a red light that I'll bring it to here. So I'll have to probably drill this one out and put a new one in. So I'm going to have to burn one in first. I don't think I have any red LEDs that are burnt in ready to go. But other than that, that's the only light I can find on here that is not currently working. So that's good that everything else is working. So I'm happy with that. So what I'll do here is I will burn in a light, and seeing it's still only Sunday, I'll set one to burn in, and then Monday or Tuesday, whenever I get back down to the bench here, I can put that new red light in here, and then we'll know the top is good to go. So I'll set one up to burn in right after I'm done checking the bottom. So I'll go start doing that now. All right, good news on the bottom. Everything is working just as it should. So that's a good break. I did go back though and CA glue all these lights, like the window lights here on the window boxes. I went around and CA'd them to make sure that they are in place securely, not going to come out. I did find one that had popped out down here, this one here. Yep. And so I went in and I put it back into place, and I CA glued it as well. So hopefully nothing should come out now. We're all good, and we can now work at doing a little bit more wiring. So what I'm going to have to wire up in here next, like you can see, here's the wires I did a couple episodes ago. They're going to go to the top and connect with both our strobe lights and our Raytheon lights. Now I have to do ones for the navigation lights from the top to the bottom, which will also be this light down in here. That'll also be part of that, and that's that color changing light. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else I really need to do. It'll just be a connection between these two, so I may have to come in here and lengthen these. Although I don't think there's really, yeah, the only lights they're going to have to connect to the mains again is going to be the window lights on the front facing of the upper hull. So those will also have to be done up, but not a big issue. So I think I'm done for today, not this episode. It'll continue on. And what I'll do is I'll put on a 042 red SMD to burn in so that we can replace it on the back, the rear top of our hull. And yeah, I think that is looking good. I'm happy with the results here now. Like I said, I just need to run a little bit more wiring as well. But I think I'm, well in hand to meet with Jordan here in the next day or so and carry on with our series. And yeah, so at that, I'll leave it here for now, and we'll see you in a bit. right? So I have my nacelles kind of glued up and sitting there drying. Hopefully they'll be uh, sealed up. Hopefully I won't have any more gaps, but we'll see a little bit of back and forth. I did have to use some reverse clamping tweezers and some locking forceps to really clamp down on uh, the pylon leading down to the nacelle itself on one of them. But I'm going to move on here now and replace this light here. So you can see the other lights in this, just on this set of wires. I have, obviously, there's a lot of them I don't have connected right now, but you can see here that this one is not working. I couldn't figure out what it was. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm just going to drill this one out and replace it, and I won't even bother, trying to pull all these wires out and everything. I'll just be able to cut down this positive somewhere in here and just splice in a new one coming up. That's all I'm going to need to do. So yeah, that's what I'm going to be working on right now. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, look at that. Looks like it's a loose connection on the positive. Look at that. Maybe I won't have to do it. So what I should be doing then is playing around with my positive. So that's what I want to do. Like, it's working now, but it's not something I'm comfortable with just leaving and saying, you know what, that's good enough, because we all know what happens is over time it'll come loose again and then it won't be working. So what I should do is try to figure out, and it's probably right off of the right in here, the resistor is probably where the issue is, because that's where a lot of my solders seem to be failing. So I'm going to do a little bit of exploration here and see if I can't get a good look at it. It is kind of glued really well because I didn't want this sort of thing to happen. But if I do some research in here, I think I can kind of get to where the resistor is, about here. And hopefully I can get at that connection. So let's see what I can figure out. Okay, so I've separated the wire now, so looks like I'm going to have to go all the way in and try to resolder this. If I can, I will throw another piece of shrink tubing down here. So I don't know how well you can see it on camera here, but this here is the end of the resistor right here. So as long as we're not causing stress here and causing to disconnect, we can hopefully come back in here and reconnect the wire. If we double check with the light and see if it comes on. Yeah, it does. That seems to be doing it. Let's make sure we can pull this shrink tubing down over top, and we'll just shrink tube that down. And I think we got lucky there by being able to do that. That seems pretty secure now. So what I'll do is I'll take my CA glue in here, and we'll just keep making sure it stays secure. So we'll just bridge it over with a little bit of CA, and then on the sides of this resistor as well. Not that I expect anything really to be moving around in here, but when it comes time to push wires back in through these side holes and kind of jam stuff around, you never know. So just, I don't know, for me, it's more of a safety issue. of not having to rip open more things than I already have. Let's put a little kicker on there. Yeah, so there we go. We got lucky. We managed to salvage this light. Yeah, I think it's just the way I was soldering before compared to the way I'm doing it now. I think it's a little bit better. So I'm just going to go around, and I notice I need to secure up my Raytheon effect lights up front here. They were coming a little loose along the bottom. So let me zoom out here for you a little bit. So what I'm going to do with this as well is just go around and make sure it's secured in place by coming along and putting a little bit of bead of CA glue along the bottom here and down over here. There we go. All right, I'm happy with all that. Now I just need to figure out what else I need to do. All right, you can see here now I have all my lights running, and they all seem to be just fine here on the bottom of our saucer. So what I think I need to do now is connect both sides here into one, and then connect that to this side so that we can have everything lit up all at once. So let me get working on that. Okay, for these ones here, they're going to be black and reds, just your standard. They won't be twisted because the twisted ones will be for my chiller grills, so I'll keep that in mind. So that at least I know when I go to connect it to the Arduino board, or whatever it's called, yeah, so that I know which is which. But let us... Other ones I'm going to have to label too are the photon torpedoes. Right now I have them in red. I could change that once they get in here. That won't be an issue. Like, I won't be able to close this up yet because I'm still going to have to start running wires for all of that. Anything else in the top of the ship already has, like in the roll bar, already has light assemblies coming in for that. The only ones it doesn't have is for the photons, which I'll do separately because right now as it is, each photon should have its own controller or whatever, so that they don't all light up all at once. It should go 1, 2 on one side, or 1, 2 on the other side, or 1, 2 and then 3, 4, whatever the case may be, whatever Todd can do for us for programming. All right, but at this time now, I could, thinking of using this wire, but now that I think about it more, I might go with one of these silicone wrapped ones a little bit more, to have a little bit more strength in between here, and then have it come off on the wire wrapping wire to, at that point, go down the tube to the control board. So let me grab some of that and I'll be right back. All right, I don't have much of this left. This is the, I believe, 30 gauge. I do have some 28 gauge, but that, as you can see, that's going to be long enough. So we have that, and we get about the same of the black. So I've been finding in dealing with this, these wires so far, it seems like I'm having more luck with these silicone wrap wires for strength, but anytime I need to go into thin places, this wire wrapping wire really does a great job of that. And so basically in the roll bar arms, before it gets to the weapons pylon, the actual pylons for the warp nacelles, that sort of thing, I find that they works really good. And then it'll be a lot of this stuff going down the tube into the stand, because that, I believe, is going to be really tight for space. So this is good strength stuff that we'll use right here in River City. So I'm going to go around, tin all these. I'll wind them up a little bit first, and then I'll tin all the wires, and I'll be right back. All right, as you can see here, I have all my negatives on the bottom here run together. kind of have them all twisted together. Then I've also thrown in the one that's going to be going over to our other side. I've got that run over here, and then plus I have the wire wrapping wire one as well in here too, because that's going to be, this is the bottom, and that's going to be running down there. Now I'm going to, instead of putting the wires together, coming together, I'm putting them all together and twisting them together. Then I'll solder them together, and then I'll put a piece of shrink tube over that. And I think that's, you know, one of those things I've kind of learned that makes for a much better joint, and is a lot more reliable in staying together. So I've put some flux on there first. I get really close, and I just put a little bit of solder on my soldering iron, and then just touch it, and it all just kind of migrates over to the, oh, pardon me for hitting the camera there, it all seems to migrate over to over here. So we have a, you know, much better connection. Let's make sure these are all, yep, they all seem to be working well. This one, yep. So I'm happy with that. So let's get a piece of shrink tube that'll suffice for size. All right, there we have it. I'm just gonna trim off just a little bit of excess, like that, and there we go. All safe and secure. So let's take our positives here. We'll do the same thing. We'll include our red that we're going to be using to cross over between the two halves of the model. And then we'll also include a piece of wire wrapping wire in there as well. So I'm going to do that off camera here, and I'll be right back. Before I connect, though, I do realize I forgot, I neglected to mention my whites here are, I believe, my marker lights, so they will be separate. So I will actually run a piece of white wire that's silicone wrapped as well between here and the top side, so that it can run the distance as well and connect. And then the reds will be off by themselves, but they're all going to use common negatives. So, which is, my understanding, is perfectly fine. So that's something to keep in mind, is not all the, like, all the negatives go together just fine, but the positives have to be separate. So I also have the white wire wrapping wire for that, as well as some more of the silicone wire as well. So I thought I'd mention that before I carry on. All right, so there we have it now. Everything's kind of bridged for all our main lights. We can see we have our bridge lights here. We have our lights back here. We have the blue light here. We have our windows lights here. Our navigation lights are all set up, as well as these two red ones on the top. And as you can see, nothing's really changed on the bottom here. It's all still running just great. There are a few things like the strobes. The strobe here isn't connected to this circuit because I want it to be separate and pulsing. So I've left that separate. And any of these strip LEDs here, these cob LEDs, they take more power, is my understanding, so they'll be wired separately. So this one here will just kind of be on its own, because it's a normal lighting light. And then the Raytheon effect ones will all go together. I'm just hoping that doesn't affect the filament LEDs. That's something I'll have to talk to Todd about. Otherwise, they can just go on with the other lights if need be. And then also the negative coming off here. I know it was getting kind of big. That's why I kind of put this in here. I know somewhere kind of right about, say right about here, I'll splice in again on this one, and that'll be the other negatives coming in. So I do realize that is something, as I was sitting here thinking and soldering and going through things in my mind, I knew that was a thing. Sorry, I was just thinking again here. It's going to get me in trouble one of these days. So, yeah, I think that's good for now. So these can't really go far from each other. But if we do close it up here, I mean, obviously wires will have to get tucked in, but as you can see, it's all starting to look good. Clearly, I haven't connected the impulse engine lights yet. They're going to be separate. They're more in conjunction with the warp nacelles, kind of their timing, kind of one on, one off type thing. Yeah, but other than that, you can see, so I really like the flickering of these lights. It's going to look really, really neat. Yes, I said neat. But there you go. There we have it. Looking really good. So I'm happy with that. I think that's going to be it for today, for this episode. I know I've got some other stuff to do, but I really am dependent on waiting for those nacelles to kind of get done. And I know we're kind of running along on time here this episode. So yeah, I'm gonna end it here. So thanks again for everybody for watching. Don't forget to go check out Jordan's build, see how he made out this episode, and how his lighting stuff's coming along. I'm looking forward to seeing it myself. Don't forget to go check out Cass over here at Lake Monster Details. He's got all those great parts coming out, and some of them are out already. And if you're looking to build this kit, I would definitely say pick them up. They make a great difference for sure. The windows, because this model, believe it or not, does not come with windows. It comes with decals that have windows, I think, and I think that's even yeah, I think that's even aftermarket, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, you need some windows. I'd recommend it. And then don't forget also to check out Will at the Ensign's Chair. Thanks again, Will, for everything you've done for us. Uh, I just can't say thanks enough to both you and Will, Cass and Will, for everything. You guys are awesome. You're doing a great service to the hobby, and we all really appreciate you. So thanks again, everybody. Thanks for watching to the end. For those of you who stuck around, you guys take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Yeah, you ever find yourself just thinking about Bert and Ernie, what they're doing in life now?
I guarantee you that they're watching 60 Minutes every single night.
We'll see you at the bench. Now go poop. Who the hell just farted in my pants?